Oh, they just opened up the NCAA joint with UCLA cheerleaders, and nothing better than that.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Kyle and Corin, all up in your ass.
I'm now here with the famous Kyle Kalinske.
Oh, yeah, because of the Joe Rogan thing, you're saying that?
Joe Rogan, fucking TYT.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Not even wanted to take a picture with celebrities because you're a celebrity.
We already told everybody the story about the guy from The Office, but that was pretty cool. When we just ran into him standing in front of the hotel, we were like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
I noticed him immediately that I had seen him elsewhere, but I didn't know his name. It didn't click exactly where I knew him from.
I would say he's like a C plus, B minus star. I mean, like...
I would say probably Rogan's bigger than him, but that's because Rogan has like the #1 podcast on the internet.
You think though? I think if they're both walking down...
That he gets recognized more, the other guy?
I think the other guy gets recognized more than Rogan. Just because
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm biased because I would recognize Rogan over the other guy.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, he was in The Office, and The Office was like one of the top shows, right?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think they have that internationally. And like, don't underestimate like Hot Tub Time Machine.
I saw that, yeah.
Like a huge movie, and he had a big role.
Well, John Cusack retweets me every now and then.
Oh yeah, Cusack likes
because he's
you.
big into politics.
Oh, so I wonder if he definitely had to see that we met Craig Robinson and that whole like shit went down.
No, he doesn't follow me on Twitter, but he retweets my shit every now and then. So I think he sees somebody who follows me, he follows, and that person retweets me all the time, and then they retweet the retweet.
Wouldn't you automatically think he would give you a follow then? Or
I
like,
would have thought so, but he doesn't. And I was like, all right. He retweets me like once a month, and it's and he doesn't follow me. It's like, all right, John, fine. No offense taken. I don't follow him either.
That's so weird. That's like Cam Newton did it so good one time. He was doing a press conference, and one of the reporters was like, Cam, we saw on your Instagram that like, you might have hurt your foot or something or did this past week. And he was like, oh, you saw that? He's like, but do you follow me? And the guy was like, no, my assistant showed it to me. And he was like, oh, so you don't follow me, but you saw my post. And then the guy was like, well, my assistant, he was like, so you're a ghost follower. And then like the guy was like, and Cam was just like, I guess he was playing around, but sort of being real. Because that shit happens a lot. Like people hate. And they don't want to give a follow or some shit,
That's all right. I don't really give a shit.
So, no, fuck him. If
but actually,
he should follow you.
I shouldn't even be saying that because it's... Before I had 100,000 followers, I was a little bit like, all right, get me over that 100 number, you assholes.
That's what I'm saying.
So if you talked to me when I had 99,400 and some odd followers, I would have been like, fuck you, John Cusack. You retweet me every 8 seconds and you're not fucking following me.
You do have... Isn't it so weird? I mean, like, you have so many followers that, like, there's a random Alexandra in there somewhere that, like, she likes your shit.
Yeah, of course. There's probably eight.
So many people.
Yeah, but I mean, the real crazy thought is think about, my level of being known versus somebody who's really, really known. Like, look at me versus, like, I have 115,000 Twitter followers or something like that.
Goddamn.
And like, think about like Justin Bieber. He has like over 30 million or some crazy shit. Here, I'm gonna look
it's
like that's really famous.
That's
That's
but if you look at that
famous.
dynamic, there's 115,000 people that know you, and you might know like
oh no, I'm way off.
27 of them.
He has 106 million followers.
Goddamn.
Like that's just you're gonna lose your fucking mind at that point. How do you not lose your mind at that point?
Well, lose your mind in what sense? What do you mean?
Because you have to feel grounded as a human being. But if everywhere you go, people look at you like you're a Martian, because that's what he gets. Everywhere he goes, people look at him like he's a Martian.
Yeah, or a zoo animal.
What the fuck is exactly like a zoo animal? Exactly. Like oh shit. But like, there's something about somebody looks at you just like, yeah, you're Dave.
Yeah.
That makes somebody go like, oh okay, that's what everybody's used to. That's what everybody's used to feeling. That feeling of anonymity. Like he can't. I mean, he slips up all the time because he's an idiot, but actually that's not fair to him. He's young as fuck and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but,
No, he knows what he's doing. Fuck him.
You think so? I think he's.
He's not like young and naive, man. He's got like he's been to too many business meetings. He's interacted with too many people in different countries, and like even through that, if that shit is filtered, like you still got to get an understanding for people and like know how shit works. Where like
I feel
other
like
people don't even get to talk to like people from other countries and shit.
when you're famous from that young of an age, though, because when he was a kid, he became famous.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to fuck you up. I mean, look at the track record. Look at all the people that happened to where they lost their minds completely. Like, who's the person who has like a cult now? Who was in?
Someone's got a cult?
Yeah, Corey Feldman, is that his name?
Oh,
I think that's his name, Corey
who was he
Feldman.
from? Like he got like molested by Michael Jackson, right? Supposedly
Oh,
or some
did he?
shit.
I
I think
no
he was
idea.
in on that. I think he was a Michael Jackson fan favorite.
Corey Feldman's the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah, like there's a bunch of child actors who lost their mind. Sometimes they get their mind back. Like
Yeah.
look at what happened with Miley
Macaulay
Cyrus.
Culkin. Oh, Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin. What's her face? The girl from Nickelodeon.
Lindsay Lohan?
Amanda Bynes lost her
Amanda
fucking
Bynes
mind. I don't know if
lost
she
her
got it
mind.
back, but like some people lose it and get it back, and then some people just lose it. Something happens when if you're in the public eye before you're developed at all as a human being, then like at a certain point it's almost like they have a crisis of identity where they're like, I didn't really sign up for this when I was a kid. Of all
my
you know, and who
parents
the fuck
made me
I
do it.
was, so now I want to redefine myself. Look at Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he got fucking
Like, he had a certain point where he was like, no, you're not going to look at me as Even Stevens anymore. I'm going to be the fucking, like, I'm going to be a badass. I'm going to be this.
Mhm.
And it's like, and you could
Screech.
Screech. You could always tell when they're overcompensating, too. Like, when Miley Cyrus was trying to be a bad girl, she's, like, shaking her ass up on fucking Robin Thicke and stuff. It's like,
She did
dude,
the
you're
swinging
trying so hard. Like, reel it in a little bit. She could reel it. If she reeled it in like 90% back then, that would have been like, okay, she's acting a little edgy. But she went so far past edginess that she came all the way back around to just being corny as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, she went so far over the line that it was like, no, now you're not even over the line. You're just stupid.
Yeah, the shit she was doing was weird, and I think though we all go a little crazy, it's just their shit is magnified.
That's
on,
another.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
on
That's
a
a good.
Hollywood
That's a
scale.
good. That's a more kind analysis of them. That's probably true, man. It's not like people. Like we're human beings, and all of us go through phases and go through
Exactly.
stages, and it's just
We
that.
had friends in high school that did shrooms or something like that, but if they were a Hollywood star,
Yeah,
it'd be-
and you see them with their long hair or some shit. They'd be like, "Oh, going crazy."
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's the parents that fucking really fuck the kids up. And like the parents are the sicker ones that no attention really goes towards that. Like Lindsay Lohan's parents are the sick ones that really got her into that shit young and fucked up her mind and all that stuff. And then in turn fucks her up. But no one talks about her parents because that doesn't sell fucking newspapers or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, the evidence looks pretty clear on it that if you have fucked up parents, you're gonna have massive issues. But, I always struggle with, I don't know how much of it is the parents and how much of it is them individually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I had technically a broken home because my parents divorced, and I don't feel like it fucked me up. But then again, who knows? Maybe if I sat with some expert, they'd be like, "You're fucked up."
Yeah,
and
if
I'd be
you
like,
had
"Oh,
magazines
okay."
writing about it or some shit like that and telling you different, sides of stories and all that.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much influence parents have over kids. Like, and that's just how the cycle works. It's like, I'm a Knicks fan, so my daughter is gonna be a Knicks fan. It's not until they get older
That's true. And
and have to decide.
you're totally helpless until you're a certain age.
Yeah.
Like, until you're like 16 minimum, you're helpless. Like you're just because what age can you legally start working? I think it's like 16, right, or 17 or something like that.
Yeah, 15, 16, something like
So
that.
something in there. So like until you could work on your own, like, and until your brain has matured to a certain point, and until you physically mature to a certain point, you're just like a fucking, like a baby deer when it's on the shaky legs and shit. Like that's what you're like as a human being. It takes humans so long before they develop. But then once humans develop, then they're, by far and away the most expansive and intelligent beings versus other animals. Like there's some animals, I think elephants, like they shit the elephant out and it's just walking already. Like some
they
things,
did that on
just-
Impractical Jokers. There was a cow and like a full-sized fucking baby cow came out.
and then
of
they
the
just start
pregnancy.
walking.
They just start walking and
It's
shit.
like, what the fuck? You look at a baby. Baby doesn't walk until how old?
Yeah.
1, 2, something like that.
Did you see the ABC video? I think it was ABC News of like a gorilla or something like that. Like someone threw it a cigarette it was in a zoo. Someone threw it like a cigarette, and the big ass gorilla or whatever it was, like picked it up and just started smoking it.
No.
And like brought it down.
Well,
And like brought it back up.
What's so crazy is that they are superhuman. Like there's some animals that you look at them and you're like, they're so similar to us that it's mind blowing. Like sometimes you see a facial expression on a dog and you're like, yo, you're basically human. Sometimes you look at, chimpanzees or gorillas, like you were mentioning, like, and genetically or in their DNA, it's like really, 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 really close to us. Like 99 point something, close to us. So maybe we aren't that special. I was just talking about how we're the most intelligent, but there are other pretty intelligent, beings out there.
Hell yeah. I heard it on some podcast. It was like, if you put just 4 people ago, maybe it might have been Rogan, like 4 peoples ago is when like we were riding in wagons and just not that smart.
Oh,
like
yeah, there's there's like a grandkid of one of the first 10 presidents or some shit that's still alive today. Like, isn't that crazy? I think the fact was Zachary Taylor was the president. Let me look this up as we talk here.
I don't even know who any of the presidents are.
Listen, I know a decent amount about the presidents, and once I get past a certain era, like once you put me too far back, I don't know them either. So it's not easy because there's a lot of them, and U.S. history is 1776 was pretty much when it all started, and then
it's nuts to think that they all like were trying to accomplish some shit, and then eventually, like they just died, and whatever they were trying to accomplish, like only a couple of them.
I've had the thought of like, when I die, there's gonna be a day where I die, and then all the like presidents that come afterwards, I'm not gonna know anything about because I'm gonna be dead, and that made me sad. It's like I can see from what we know in history books how far we've come so far. But then there's going to be a day when I die, and I'm not going to see how it ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just like, fuck. Like, I want to be able to check in and be like, all right, so who the fuck is your...
Check in on some shit that you did and just be like, oh, okay, that's what
happened, like, and then you go back to sleep forever.
Like if the forefathers came back they always say like with the Second Amendment. They're just like, oh, no.
That's not what we meant at all. What the fuck are you guys doing? you have guns that what? They shoot how many bullets per minute?
They have a bear who ripped off another bear's arms or some shit, and it's just like, that's what we meant by bear arms.
Yeah, I tweeted like a picture of that one time. You have the right to bear arms. It shows literal bear arms. So here's the fact, by the way. 10th president... Oh, John Tyler's grandsons are still alive. So
John Tyler was the president?
Yes, the 10th president he was. And his grandsons are still alive. That was as of 2017. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy fucking fact, man.
I think I've said this before, but I had an ex-girlfriend who knew she was pretty dumb, pretty dumb, but she knew every president by a song.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you tie it to a song, of course. Because there's some songs you'll never forget certain songs. Like, they're in your head forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you tie in whatever information you're trying to put in the song, then because of the fact you know the song, you're going to learn the thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like that. Like, if you put a pill in applesauce and you have the applesauce, you don't even realize you just had a pill. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, you get the medicine, you don't even know you had the medicine. That's what it's like learning through music, because music you can remember.
I wonder what that is with music. Just like rhythm or something. We're more like easy to
I don't
remember.
know, man. It's like, I think my friend told me something about music one time that blew my fucking mind. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it has something to do with like math. That there's some sort of a link between music and math.
Well, that would make sense because I think music goes in certain like eighths and sixteenths and like certain whatever parts of the song that you hit. And I know they say with like we can remember, I don't know what type of like what pattern of numbers, but we can remember a certain status of numbers. Like that's why we could remember a phone number or something like that, because it's in a sequence of numbers that we know, like 3 and then 4. I don't know what the thing was, but like you could remember certain pockets of numbers if it's in like a type of system.
Yeah.
I don't know. If that makes any sense at all.
I know what you're talking about. I've heard that before too. So the music and math thing, I don't know if it's been proven, but they say that there's like, it's almost like you have a brain map, and it's almost like you're wired to understand and appreciate certain sounds in a certain order. So when a song resonates with you, it's because it's kind of triggering that brain map, and so if you hear something, notes that are out of tune or whatever, you immediately know it's out of tune. But like, okay, why is it out of tune? Why does that thing sound really weird and bad to us, but this other thing sounds good to us? And it's pretty much, uniform across the board. People know when something flows and when something is shitty.
Yeah, so, you could tell when something's offbeat. Like
if they miss a note. So it's like, well, how the fuck is that the case? Because one would think, or I would have guessed it would be a reasonable assumption to say, no, we create music and just it's totally subjective. But it's like, no, it's not totally subjective. There is an element of it that's subjective. If somebody prefers, whatever, classical music to pop music, or somebody prefers rap to jazz, or whatever the case is. So some of it's subjective, but only within a certain narrow scope. Because if you put together just a bunch of notes that don't go together, if I try to play the piano right now and I don't know how to play the piano, people be like, that shit was terrible. So it's like uniform. Everybody agrees. So why is it that everybody agrees? And it has something to do with math. It has something to. That's at least how it was described to me. I don't know if it's true, but it's an intriguing idea. This idea that music has to. Music is something that's very innate in a way, because you could play music for kids and they start dancing. My little nephew, 1 year old. You play music for him, he starts dancing.
Yeah,
it's like, well, he's 1 year old. He's just been shitting himself and eating this entire time. Like, what the? It's innate. Like, there's something wired in us where that's like you just react that way. You're just like, oh, the rhythm, and then you start moving with the rhythm and stuff.
You see, there's so many of those videos of kids dancing to the most popular. I think "Turn Down for What" was one of them, and you see kids rocking back and forth, smiling. You're right. Like they just hear sounds like.
Yeah,
so there's got to be something that makes people happy through good music.
Yeah, there's something about that that's innate, in the same way that, sex. Everybody knows sex feels good.
Yeah.
There's certain things you have to eat to survive.
So memory is tied to that too, because I know they say scent is the strongest. What is it?
Scent is the strongest sense tied to memory. I don't know if that's true, though. I feel like I heard that in a commercial. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a commercial, but I feel like...
It could be true, sure.
But I feel like I remember certain things from smell.
Yeah, of course. You smell something and you're like, it can take you back to, damn, I remember 1999, I was going to see a hockey game in New York City with my dad, and I smelled that Sabrett hot dog on the fucking...
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
So maybe that with memory and music and...
Well, this is what we were talking about when I was doing the Rogan podcast. I made a point about... Because he mentioned, ghosts and the fact that at the Comedy Store somewhere... It's like there's rooms that people go, oh, this room is haunted or whatever. And Tony Hinchcliffe was convinced he saw a ghost. And I said, I don't believe in ghosts, but I definitely get... And you tell me if you have felt a similar thing. Do you feel like you get an energy from a room? Because I feel like I get an energy. And I'm not saying, just so everybody knows, I'm not saying that there's something there externally. It could all be in my own mind, with my mind interacting and reacting with whatever's in front of me. You know what I mean? So it could all be in my own head. But what I'm saying is, whatever the thing is that is in my own head is real. Where there's some rooms I look in and I'm like, this room feels really cold and really, detached and not it's not comfortable. But then there's other rooms you look in and you go, that shit looks fucking comfortable. And maybe it has something to do with the light settings. Maybe it has something to do with the color scheme or whatever, furniture, whatever the fuck. But there's definitely a feeling I get when I look at one room versus another room, and I know almost instantly whether or not I like the room.
Yeah. I don't know if I get that so much. I think I get that more so with people.
Totally with people, for sure.
Yeah, like a certain vibe. Like
Totally.
You could just tell if the vibe is off or if the person is like not flowing with your vibe. And I don't know if that's just something you sense off the person or if that's some shit that like telegraphically you both are feeling together. But it could be similar to that room sense where it's like you're just putting this in your head, so you're sort of creating a weird vibe with the room or the person, you know?
Well,
whereas if you try and change your mindset,
with a person, it's even clear. I think you're right about that, because with a person, you are literally interacting with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
But do you think you could change that? Like being like, all right, fuck that. I'm going to think this shit is going positive.
No, I don't think you can.
I don't think so either.
No, you can't. Like, because they are half of the equation.
Yeah.
So if you are doing everything you could do to try to steer it properly, that's only 50%.
Yeah.
If that other 50% is lacking, then you're stuck at 50%. You know what I mean? So there's got to be some sort of chemistry there.
Yeah.
And what creates the chemistry is another question. Is it, you know, how do you know if somebody clicks with you or doesn't click with you? Is it because you were both raised in a similar environment? Are you connecting on that level, on like, oh, we're similar and we have a lot of things in common in our backgrounds? Or is it something more like, you know, you're just connecting on the same frequency because your personalities connect on the same frequency, and it's not really the culture, it's more just the personalities themselves on their own connect? So I don't know what it is, but that shit is definitely real. Everybody knows that one's real.
So let me ask you a question. Because when I was listening to the Rogan thing, I thought it flowed. I thought you guys were awesome. I thought you guys had a great conversation. Like, did you feel the same when you were talking? Like, was there any points when you're like, we're flowing right now, as opposed to some parts where you're like, this is not flowing?
So he's really easy to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
He's really easy to talk to. And he's good. There was only one moment where I was like, fuck. And that's when he said something and like waited for me to respond, and I didn't have anything to say. So I was just like, I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, but you hit him with some, like, he said a good ass point and there was no counterpoint. I think you were just like,
yeah, we weren't
agree
debating.
With that. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, we weren't debating. He was just making a point, and he expected me to, you know, expand on that point. But I was just like, Joe, I don't know what to say to that. Yeah. And so, but point is, he went right back to, he's gonna keep talking because he had a bunch of shit to say. Mm-hmm. But I felt like it flowed better the later the conversation got. Probably the last hour of the podcast is the best hour of the podcast. Mm-hmm. But that's,
and he says
that's
too.
just natural.
I think that it gets. There's a tendency that the last hour and a half is like a lot more comfortable because you are opening up more, you're more freer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I felt like the whole thing went pretty well, and we were able to, because he has a lot to say and I have a lot to say, and you get us in a room and we start talking, and yeah, it's gonna like blossom. It's just gonna keep going. It's just gonna go off in all different directions, and then, you know, next thing you know, I'm making a point about a side point on a side point that he made going back. You know what I mean? So
you guys had a lot of those that were good. The what was it? The Asian Kennedy brothers, some shit like that. Oh
God, that was so funny. That guy looked like Asian Ted Kennedy. It was fucking crazy. But
and then even calling the other guy weird looking. Who was that? One of the actors.
No, the John Voight.
No, not John. No, not
John Voight, right?
No,
I thought it was John Voight.
Someone that I know, and you were like, he's a weird looking dude.
Oh, it's not John Voight. It's the other guy who looks like John Voight.
Can't come to me right now.
John Voight. Let me see his picture.
Not Christopher Walken, right? Is it Christopher Walken?
It is Christopher Walken. I think it was Christopher Walken.
I don't know.
Christopher Walken or John Voight? It was Christopher Walken.
I'm 1,000 it wasn't.
It was Christopher Walken, but him and John Voight are the same person.
Isn't John Voight? Oh no, I'm thinking of Billy Bob Thornton. I feel like Billy Bob Thornton is the same person as all three of those guys too.
Nah, Billy Bob Thornton's like creepy, doing some sexual shit right now with a bagel and a hooker.
Yeah, I'm surprised nothing's come out on that dude.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there has been already. We just don't know because we don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it was good. And the third hour was best with Rogan, I think. And he even said it. He said, I tried to get at it. He told me off air, I tried to step out of your way in that last rant you did.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even really realize I was ranting. I was like, was I ranting? I didn't even know I was fucking ranting. He's like, yeah,
But
I tried to step out anyway. What's that?
He gave you props.
Yeah,
on it.
and he's really nice, man. He's really nice. He said a bunch of nice stuff off air.
Yeah, it was dope. We weren't expecting. I mean, like, so the dude who runs his building was like, Joe's very prompt. He'll be here right at 11, and we got there like an hour early.
Yeah, he came there like 30 minutes early.
He came like at 10:15. He got there 45 minutes early, and you were in the bathroom, and I see the door opening up, and I'm standing next to like the building guy. He's like, "Oh, that'll be Jamie." And fucking Rogan walks in, and I'm like standing there in his shit, like,
hey, you don't know what to say.
This is my shit, like, and I was like, "Damn, this isn't your shit," like.
Oh shit.
But I'm standing in his shit, like I'm about to greet someone coming into my shit.
Oh.
So he comes in, looking at me, mad confused, like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And like he had like a sort of like, "Who is this dude?" look. I was like, "Oh, Kyle's in the bathroom." Like, it was sort of how like you weren't there in that moment.
I felt
it was weird because I'm standing in his shit when he's supposed to be standing in his shit.
Well, so you had a moment of like, fuck, the one moment in this whole
Yes.
trip where I need Kyle to be standing next to me. He's not standing next to me.
Yep. Because I got to like explain like, oh, Kyle's in the bathroom. I'm like, he's like, why is his boy here with him? Why is he standing here without him? Like,
and you had told me beforehand, you're like, is he going to be cool with me coming? I was like, of course he's going to be cool with you coming.
He definitely, yeah.
And then you had that one moment where you were like, fuck, he might not be cool with me being here.
1,000% he wasn't. He was like, why are you in my shit acting like you're in my...
No, he was cool. He was ultimately cool about it.
But then we got 45 minutes before the show to fucking...
Yeah.
He shot and chat the shit with us.
Yeah, chat the shit. I like that. We shit the shit with each other. It was great. We were just shitting on each other, like literally shitting.
Shitted on each other.
So... yeah, he talked to us the whole time before the podcast, and then when we got off air, we kept talking too.
Yeah.
It's like there was a mini podcast before the podcast, and then after the podcast, there was a podcast.
Yeah, and he was the same dude on the air as he was off air. It wasn't like he flipped a switch or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. And that's even, I have to say, he's even better than me on that front, because sometimes when I'm off air, I'm like mentally off sometimes, or I'm just like shut down almost. It's almost like there's
a lot of people are like
close sign on my forehead, like I'm not on right now.
I sort of got that from, not to shit on him, but like Jank, a little sense of that. Like on air, he's very, he's very talkative, and and off air, it's a little bit of like, okay,
and I think I'm more like that too, because I don't know, when you're on air so much, it's almost like you take save up all of your life energy, and then when you're on air, you fucking like burst it out, and you're like, here's all my life energy and all my fucking like passion and all the shit I'm interested in, and just blah. And then right when you get off air, it's almost like your life energy is like, now you gotta chill, because you just spent like 89% of the life energy we gave you for this week. Like, so now you got fucking 11% left, and you got to try to conserve this shit until the next show.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but I really feel sometimes like that's the case. Like, there's times right when I get off air that it's just like, I'm like, I take a breath, and then I get up to walk, and I feel like an old man. I start like,
like
I'm
takes a while
stiff,
to wind down.
And it's just like, and your mind like doesn't work for a solid hour or 2 hours after you're done with the show.
They say that about basketball players, because it's like they get so ramped up for like just a regular season game. Imagine like Kobe on an NBA Finals game or some shit.
Yes.
Like trying to go to sleep that night.
Yeah.
It's like you get so ramped up for that basketball game that like once it's done and you're driving home, it's like you just got so much adrenaline. Like you just had played in front of 20,000 people. Like you're performing,
and then you crash
every day on YouTube, and these TV announcers are performing on on TVs.
Yeah.
That it's just like when they get off air, it's just like I just want to. Yeah.
There's a shutdown.
Shut off. Yeah.
And it just goes down. It's funny because Yoel Romero, who's a MMA fighter, was on Rogan's podcast the other day, and he was talking about how, first of all, he looks amazing. He looks like he's 30 and just fucking ripped and looks great.
Is he Dominican?
No, Cuban. He's Cuban.
Oh, okay.
But he looks like absolutely amazing. But then he said towards the end of the podcast, he mentioned like when Joe asked him when he wants to retire, he was like, talk to me after this next fight, but he said, I'm hurting. He's like, I'm hurting. Like, when I'm training, I wake up the next day, everything hurts. He said, my fucking fingernails hurt. My toenails hurt. Every part of my body hurts. And then I stopped and I was like, wait a second. Like, I'm looking at this dude almost like he's superhuman because of how he looks, how jacked he is, and how in shape he looks and everything. But he's just a human being. So, like, to get that jacked, he had to bust his ass, and he's been in how many fights where he got fucking punched in the face, and he was punching other people in the face? So, like, if you're training hard enough where you're doing all the fucking cardio and you're doing all the weightlifting and all the training for a literal fight, a fucking cage fight, an MMA fight, he's expanding so much energy. Is that a word? Expanding? Expounding? So much energy, whatever the fuck it is.
Probably.
He's using all this energy and he's getting his fucking ass beat that, yeah, he's going to wake up the next day and be sore. And then it clicked with me. It's like, oh, he's acting in the same way. Like, if I decided one day, which obviously I'd never do because I'm a bitch, but, oh, I'm going to go fight MMA, and I went through a month training camp. By the end of that training camp, every part of my body would be sore. I'd be like, I can't fucking do this. I have no energy. And that's what he was saying. He was like, yeah, I'm fucking tired. Like, I get tired. And then you realize, like, yeah, that's everybody, man. That's fucking everybody. Everybody's human. Everybody's, you know, even when you look at people like they're superhuman. My perfect example is Tiger Woods. Everybody knows how much I love Tiger Woods. He's fucking human. He just said today, in a press conference, because he got second place last week, which everybody, the world was on fire. They're like, oh my fucking Tiger Woods is back.
It just looks right.
It's only his fourth tournament or fifth tournament back. Like, from his fucking fourth back surgery, he got his back fused. So everybody's like, this is fucking amazing. We can't believe it. But he admitted today in a press conference when they were asking him questions, he said, there was a point where I didn't know if I would be able to get back on tour. Because it was in between back surgeries and he was bedridden. He was in his bed. He couldn't move. He said he needed help to walk to the fucking bathroom. This is Tiger Woods we're talking about. He was like, I didn't know if I'd ever be able to play on tour. And then as the back healed and the doctors gave him the okay to start putting and chipping and stuff, he started doing that. And he's like, okay, maybe I could try to play in some tour events. And then, you know, you keep slowly inching the goalpost now further and further, where he was like, maybe I can make some cuts. Like, maybe I'll play on tour. I'll try to make some cuts. This is Tiger Woods, arguably the best golfer ever, was unsure if he'd ever play on the PGA Tour again or if he'd even make a cut again. And then he just kept, okay, so, I can make cuts. Oh, shit, I'm in contention. I guess I could get in contention every now and then. And then it went, oh, shit, I almost won. But
that putt he made on 17. Yeah,
amazing.
Sorry.
Vintage Tiger Woods made a fucking 45-foot putt on 17 to keep himself in the game. It's like, oh my God, we're watching. It's almost like this is a fucking, like this isn't real. Like we're watching a fucking superhero movie or something. But point is, he was admitting, like, bitch, I had no idea if I was going to even play on tour again. If I was going to, like, contending. I'm just as surprised as you guys were that I was fucking contending. And that gets to the point of everybody's human. Yoel Romero's fucking in pain. Tiger Woods didn't know if he would ever fucking make a cut again. People look at me and they're like, oh, he's a talker. That's what he does. He talks. Yeah, but you might meet me in person and I might be like, I'm eating a bagel and I have nothing to say. Tell you. Like, I have nothing to say. You think I'm like, what? We just have a conversation? I'm like, okay, now let me tell you what the fucking Democrats did. It's like, no, it's not always like that. But
you always see people doing their shit that they're good. Like, you're only going to see Tiger Woods on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on TV doing his shit at the top level.
Yeah.
I look at it as like boxers. Like when they're in the ring and they look fucked up, you're like, okay, that looks normal because they're where they're supposed to be fucked up. But if you ever see a picture of like a dude who gets fucked up, like in the club 2 days later or something like that, and his face is fucking demolished, you're like, ooh, that looks painful.
Yeah.
And like, if you could see the fucking painfulness in that shit from a photo, like when in the ring, you're like, okay, that looks fine. They're putting ice on it. That shit'll go down. But when you see it in some real life shit, like you see Tiger, a video from TMZ of him like hobbling with his back or some shit, you're just like, fuck, man, that looks like how anybody else would look fucked up.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. That last point you made. That looks like how anybody else would look. That's right. That's what it is, man. And that's same thing with fights. Like I agree with you. When I'm watching a fight and somebody gets hit with a shot, I just think like, Okay, and
He's
they'll
good.
keep it moving. But in
Yeah.
reality, this motherfucker just got hit, and they're like, fuck, that shit hurt. And they
Hell
might be able to brush it off if they have a good chin, but like they're feeling it. They're fucking feeling it.
Oh,
You
hell
know,
yeah.
100% they're feeling it. And we're just watching at home like, and you know, that's the thing that's crazy about human beings. I'm guilty of it just like everybody else, is that we'll watch some shit that we've never done in our lives and be like, I bet I could do that shit.
Yeah.
How many times have we had that fucking, like, you watch some NBA game and somebody's playing like shit, and you're like, I bet I could knock down a bunch of threes in that shit. I bet I could
I'll
drop
say
15 on them.
WNBA, I could definitely do that shit.
But that's the thing is, like, no, we can't do shit.
know,
Like,
I know.
you could put me in a fucking middle school game, they'll probably rock me at the moment because I fucking, I get out of breath quick and shit. But there's a bunch of shit I wanted to talk about today. So I've been on my shit recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized something about me, and it's this paradox. It's this weird paradox. And for everybody who doesn't know, when I say I'm on my shit, what that means is I'm working out, I'm eating right, and I'm sticking to my schedule. So when I'm doing that, almost immediately when I'm doing it right, I'm like, damn, I want to not be on my shit. Like, I want to fucking eat some shitty food. I want to rip up the schedule, throw out the schedule. I want to not work. I want to miss workouts, and I just want to fucking say fuck all of it and just chill and just nothing matters, and I'm just going to do what I want. But then if I were to do that, as soon as I start doing that shit, or as soon as I get comfortable doing that, I would be hit with the opposite feeling of like, damn, I wish I was on my shit. So it's a paradox. It's almost like, on the one hand, you have like perfect order and organization. Like, everything's all orderly, everything's all organized, and isn't this great? And then on the other hand, you have freedom. Freedom is messy as a motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like the two people on your shoulder. You got the fucking good
The devil
Kyle,
and the
you got
angel.
bad
But I
Kyle.
feel like it's a little more complicated than that, because the devil and the angel, that's not really that hard. You know the angel's right. You know what I mean? Whereas the devil's like, okay, I'm fighting off the bad side of me. But when it's order or organization versus freedom, it's like there are upsides and downsides to both of them. You know what I mean? The freedom upside is freedom. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, and you're like, it's the idea of like, yeah, I'm gonna have a fucking Wendy's burger. What? I'm not gonna have a Wendy's burger? Or what, am I gonna live until the day I fucking die, never having experienced the pleasure of eating a fucking Wendy's burger again? Like, let me have this fucking Wendy's burger. Like, there's something about that that's liberating. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking have this. Fuck you. That's why I'm gonna have this. This is delicious as a motherfucker. What? I'm not supposed to have this? Go fuck yourself. So there's upside to that. But the downside is you get sloppy, and, you know, you're out of shape, and it's not healthy, and you probably feel like shit if you live that kind of a lifestyle after a certain amount of time. So there are downsides to that. The upside of the being orderly and following your schedule and being strict and rigid and, you know, being organized, the upside of that is you feel great. Like, okay, I'm working out, I'm eating the right foods, I'm healthy. That's fucking wonderful. But the downside is there's something about being in a position like that. It's like you yearn for throwing the rules off of you. You know what I mean? Like breaking free from the rules and saying almost like...
Going against the grain, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm above these rules. I don't need these fucking rules. Like, this is for chumps. Like, I get to do what I want to do. I don't need these fucking rules. I need to be free. So there's something that's confining about doing everything right. You know what I mean?
I think that's just in our nature to like not be tied down and not fucking be.
So you
restricted
feel that
to shit.
too when you do it one way or the other way? Do you get in that conundrum? Like,
not really. No,
No.
I'm like when I start, it's difficult. But if I set my mind to it, it's on some like I don't even think of the other side. It's like I'm on my shit. Like to me, a Wendy's burger would be like disgusting.
see, I think that's the right mindset, because I've been trying to make it so that they're non-negotiable. Those things that you're doing that make you feel good, that are part of your schedule, that are healthy, you just put that in the non-negotiable category, you know? And then you say, listen, you could have all the freedom you want, but the freedom is outside of these other things that are not on the table. You know what I mean? It's like you have to go do your workout. That's not a question. You have to do it. You have to eat healthy. That's not a question. That's all you have in the fridge. It's supposed to be like that. That's all you're going to do is eat this shit. That's not a question. But then you could say it's almost like you're negotiating with yourself. You say that's off the table in the negotiation, but you want to feel free? Okay, whatever, stay up later or watch this movie or play this fucking video game. Like that, you're free. You get the wiggle room on that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the only way to escape the conundrum is to like almost play a Jedi mind trick on your own mind where you say, we're going to give you the freedom, but the freedom is going to come in this other area, and you're not allowed to dissent in this area where the exercise is and the eating healthy is and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's different do you feel that way every time you do the diet? Like it's throughout the whole journey? It's feeling like that? Or do you have
not every time. Not every time. Because there's
got to be a moment where you fucking get over that hump and you're just like not looking back and you're like, ooh, I don't even want chips right now would fuck up my whole shit.
No, I'd never say I'm totally over it. Like there are times when the doing everything right feels great, especially when you start seeing the benefits of it. Mm-hmm. When the belly goes away, the spare tire goes away, the size in the upper body comes back, when you feel like you don't run out of breath so quickly when you start running, like there are rewarding moments, and then you do just generally feel better. But that's, there oftentimes, just by virtue of the fact that you're doing this confined, restricted thing, it's almost like, I don't know if you do this, but I say to myself, okay, but like to what end? Like, what am I going to do this until I fucking die? I'm just going to be this fucking super healthy and work out until I die? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like you're always looking for, okay, when do I graduate? Or when do I get my summer vacation? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I start to think like that when I fall off the wagon. When I like eat some shit, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be doing this forever anyway. But throughout the journey, it's like if I go to Miami or some shit, I take my shirt off, like that's a checkpoint. Or like, like every time I realize that like, okay, wow, I'm in shape right now. If I'm doing a CrossFit class, I take my shirt off or some shit, I'm like, boom, another checkpoint. Like, and those are the shits that get me through. But I never really have that feeling where it's like, oh, I'm not going to be doing this forever. Because I think while I'm doing it, I'm like, I might do this shit forever. But then if something throws me off the wagon, like if I have a Big Mac or White Castle one day, I'm like, I could eat this shit. What am I going to do that diet forever? And that's like my cop out for like eating that shit. So while I'm doing it, I don't think like that. But that's my reasoning when I do fall off the shit is like, I'm not going to be doing this shit forever.
You don't have those days when you're sore from a good workout and you're just like, fuck, I can't do this shit forever? Because I've had that feeling where like I really busted ass in a workout and it was a good workout. And then, like, 2 days later, I'm still sore, and I'm like, damn, I can't do this shit all the time. I'm sore. Like, I just did all that shit, but I'm sore as a result of it. Do I just want to be sore all the fucking time?
I feel like the opposite. You should think the opposite. Like, fuck, I just slaughtered this shit. This is a result of doing well.
Yeah, but I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to fucking be like, I did this awesome thing and now I'm in pain. No, I want to be like, I did this awesome thing, now I feel good.
Yeah. That only happens with my legs.
Well, yeah.
I'll do like some squats or some shit. I can't walk down the stairs and I'm just like, I don't ever want to do that again. Like, this is a bad feeling.
I used to reject the shit out of legs. I don't do that anymore. Now, in fact, I prioritize my legs.
I know. People they would be like, bro, do your legs. That's how your upper body gets big. I'll just be like, no.
But, like, it's true. I didn't listen to those people either. And I was like, fuck you. I'm not. It's like, it feels like a wasted day. But you really notice it when you look at other people who don't do legs.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, you look terrible.
Yes.
You look like a bitch. Like, what you have fucking little twig chicken legs and then you got an upper body on you. It's like, you look ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So anyway, for two reasons, because I don't want to look ridiculous. I've been doing legs like crazy. But also because I like the look, and as you age, it's good to have strong legs and a strong back. People say that's more important than anything else. And it's funny because you work on all the opposite things when you first start working out. Like, I want to get arms, bro. I want to get arms. I want to get a chest. It's like, well, that's the fucking most useless part. You don't need that. You need a strong legs and a strong back.
You're so right. If I don't know if I heard this, but like someone was saying that Tiger Woods' back is fucked up because his father was like some drill sergeant shit and used to have him doing crazy back exercises and all this shit.
No, that's not
No,
true.
right?
No,
Okay.
I mean Tiger motivates himself with, like he was considering going to the army, like he
Oh, really?
wanted to maybe be in the army, so he trained like he was in the fucking army, like but his back is fucked up from just golf. Golf is not good for the human back, especially when you're fucking traveling the world and you're playing golf 6 out of 7 days of the week. You know, that's going to fuck up your back, man, because there's a lot of torque and a lot of pressure put on your lower back when you're a golfer. A lot of old guys who golf, that's probably the number one injury is back. A lot of fucked up backs from golf.
Yeah, but then you look at fucking football players who are fucking getting like
Yeah, their brains are
rammed in
fucked
their
up.
fucking-
Exactly, yeah.
Their brains and backs are fucked up.
Yeah. But it is true
Speaking of that, did you see the OJ shit on Fox?
I didn't see the interview, but what was it? It was an interview that was done in like the 90s that's unearthed now? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I watched it for like fucking 2 minutes. I'm just so over all this OJ shit, but I think it was from like '06 or some shit when he was like out living in Las Vegas or whatever. And then they had a panel discussing it, which is almost just like,
Was
what?
it his mock, did they say it was like a mock confession?
I think it was like, yeah, hypothetical. Like, if I did kill
That's what I'm
Nicole-
saying. Yeah, but he wrote a fucking book, If I Did Kill. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
OJ Simpson is such an easy money grab for fucking TV, for books, for headlines.
Not anymore. I didn't fucking look at that shit. I know that show did well, though. Was it a Netflix show, the OJ show?
I think it was on FX.
Oh, okay. Well, that show did well. I know the show
They
did
had
well.
that, but then they had a 30 for 30 on ESPN documentary on
Well, those
OJ
are always
Simpson.
good.
Yeah, and it was mad good.
Well, it's a fucking crazy story. You have this guy who's a fucking NFL player, amazing, you know, and then like, oh shit, you just killed your wife.
At some point, it's like we've seen every angle of this fucking story.
And what's hilarious is I never really paid that much attention to it. I just remember
Really?
how big it was, and I remember that the Asian judge, people literally, it was such a big story in society that people were wearing his mask as a fucking Halloween costume. They would wear the judge's mask.
And the white Bronco.
Yeah.
Oh,
all
the
that
judge's
shit.
mask.
The judge's mask, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know people wearing the
Oh,
judge's.
you don't remember that? I'm going to look it up, make sure I don't have a false memory. I think his name
Maybe.
was Judge
I mean, like, he
in
was just like
OJ case.
He became, like a character.
Ito,
with
Judge Ito. Judge Ito mask.
It's so crazy that like people remember the judge, but in reality, like the judge really, they have no decision in this shit. It's the jury. Like the judge is sort of just a guy who just controls.
Yeah,
the
people
court.
weren't shitting on the judge. Like he was just famous because of this case, but they had masks.
Really.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So this isn't a false memory of mine. Isn't it crazy how like some memories can be false?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Like I've had that happen to me where somebody was like, "No," I was like, "Yes," and they were like, "No," and then they proved it, and I was like, "What?" My mind was blown.
Well, you can convince yourself of some shit too, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can, like I think I convinced myself of something, and they were like, "No." I was like "Yes."
Are there family stories that you have that like that they've just been told so many times that like you've thought about it and you're like, I don't even really remember that, but I think we just tell that story over and over again.
Yeah, I think that's happened in my family for sure.
I have that shit. It's like, supposedly I fell out of I got lost in Disneyland at the Five O's Go West shit, and I remember that pretty vaguely. But then there's another time where my parents said I fell out of the car.
Oh shit!
And it's just like a story that like they always say, like we were going on a ramp. It was like 25 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, and like the door was open and I just fell out. And I don't really remember that shit, but like I guess I tell myself I remember it because it's just been told so many times.
Yo, what the fuck? You fell out of a car? I thought I had some fucked up shit as a kid.
Maybe it didn't happen.
Yeah, that sounds a little wild. I know I fell off like a pier thing when I was a kid, not into water.
Like a
dock, almost like a dock, but onto like there was a dock, and I fell.
You're just leaning forward, and you.
I was a little kid, and I was just on the dock, and I like ran off it. that happened. There was some. I mean, I've gone through my injuries before on the show.
Yeah. We have no control over our bodies at such a young age. Like now that I have a daughter, it's just like I put her on my like shoulder and her head is just like boom.
I know, we're just so fucking
swivels.
fragile. Even as adults, we're fragile, but yeah, we're even more fragile as kids for sure.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's amazing. Like it's not. I'm surprised there aren't more like kid deaths. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because the number of times we could have died. It's like it could happen pretty easy.
Well, and just little things. I was telling you before the thing, before the podcast, that like my dad was here and he had a little bit of a cough, and like babies don't have a great immune system, so like you got to be cautious of like somebody coughing on your baby and shit like that. Like all it takes is someone sneezing on your fucking baby, and like they that's it. They're done. They're sick. They're deathly ill because they don't have a good immune system.
Well, that's why
you got to be so fucking precious.
Think of what it was like way back in the day when they had the Black Plague that just wiped out everybody.
Oh, it was a wrap. Everybody died. Like
everybody just died. Like, how many people died in that? Let me see. Black Plague. It wiped out like some preposterous percentage of the population.
That was just like a regular sickness or some shit, and just like someone caught it, and then like, boom, everybody just started dying because they had no medicine for it.
Yeah, they had no medicine, and then it was very contagious. Okay, here we. Oh my God, listen to this, man. Listen to this shit. What? You ready to be scared?
Yeah.
The Black Death is estimated to have killed.
Wait, the Black Plague or the Black?
The Black Death, same thing as the Black Plague.
Oh, that shit sounds mad racist.
No, I think it's because they threw up black shit. Like,
like
there's a
black
logical
tar
explanation
shit, right?
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Black Death is estimated to have killed 30 to 60% of Europe's population.
God damn.
In total, the plague may have reduced the world population from an estimated 450 million people to about 350 million people.
Wow.
in the 14th century. The plague recurred as outbreaks in Europe until the 19th century. Holy shit. And so what they say is, like, we're all fucking on our high horse today, like we have shit figured out. Mm-hmm. Nah, there could easily be some sort of a pandemic or an epidemic where, we don't have antibiotics that could kill a certain drug, and then we're right back like we are with this shit.
I bet you something like the flu now that like we can control out here. It's like you get a little sick, but you take medicine. If you had the flu back in like that time, that shit, if you think about it, would have killed 300 million people.
Well, dude, that's the point is before penicillin, like now if you get any kind of a virus, we still don't have drugs that could cure a virus. Mm-hmm. We could cure bacterial diseases with antibiotics. But before antibiotics, anything that was a bacterial disease we couldn't attack either. So, like, and antibiotics, I think they were discovered by accident. I think penicillin was discovered by accident. So it's almost like we stumbled across a medicine that was really responsible for saving us, like, saving so many people. And we just kind of stumbled across it. And we're still clueless on viruses. If you get a virus, you just have to wait it out.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a virus, you just have to wait it out. You just have to drink a lot of fluids and rest. That's what they tell you. So we're still stuck in the year 1600 with viruses.
Imagine the first person that like got that vaccine or penicillin that got saved from this shit.
Yeah, when they took it and they realized it worked.
Yeah.
Well, they accidentally discovered Viagra. You know that story?
No.
They were doing like a heart they were looking for some sort of a heart medication, and they were doing studies on this pill, and they would give it to these old guys and their dicks were getting hard. And they accidentally discovered it. And then they're like, I guess we could just sell this as a, pill to get your dick hard. And then there's the magic of Viagra.
Would you be a Viagra spokesperson if you were older and they asked you? Well, not like if they asked you, but like, you would like, because you wouldn't want to be like a spokesperson for like a bigger like erection company?
Because no, not for that reason. Because pharma companies are fucked up.
Oh, true.
Pharma companies bought the government, and they're really corrupt, and so I wouldn't do it for that reason.
I think it's hilarious when I see. I think there's some athletes that do like Viagra spokesperson shit. But like the
the older athletes.
Stuff. Yeah, they do
like,
it.
Tony Saragusa. He does doesn't he do the depends, like he was shitting himself or something?
Does he?
Yeah, I think he does depends.
Oh, now he's a great spokesperson for them.
Isn't that like, ooh, imagine being the spokesperson for depends? Like, I'm a
That's
guy
what
that
I'm saying.
shits myself. Sometimes
That's what
I
I'm
eat
saying.
ribs.
Like, you have to really represent, like, hey, my dick can't get hard anymore, but I once was an athlete using it a lot, and I still am gonna use it.
Oh man. I've tried it before and it just gave me a fucking massive headache.
Yeah, same.
But
It didn't give me a headache. It gave.
well, it gave me that too, but I cut it into like a fourth or something because
Yeah.
somebody warned me, like, listen, man, you're young, you're healthy, you don't need it. You just have to take like a little bit of it. And then they were right, and it worked in that way, but then also I had a terrible headache. I was like, this shit is terrible. Because that's the thing. It expands your fucking blood vessels and your veins and shit, but it does it everywhere, not just for your dick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that's
I don't know.
why your dick gets hard, because it expands the fucking veins and blood vessels and shit, so that it can rush there. But it does it with your head too. It does it everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's one of the most common side effects with it. Is people get fucking massive headaches. I had a huge headache. I was like, I'm not taking this shit ever again.
Oh, imagine that phone call when, like in the commercial says, like, if you have an erection more than
priapism, yeah, where your erection lasts for longer than 3 or 4 hours or something.
calling the fucking police department, like, 911, what's your emergency? My dick's been hard for 12 hours.
Could you imagine the shit that people who like are on an ambulance, what they have to see?
Oh man, yeah. Like firefighters have that shit. Like they're the first responders.
I don't know how they do it, man. I
don't know how they do that shit either. And like, yeah, those are people that should be making like fucking NBA money.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot before too. Like when it comes to teachers, the teachers in West Virginia were just striking, and they got like a 4% or 5% raise that they were asking for, but they hadn't had a raise in years, and the price of their health insurance was skyrocketing. But they're not even earning, I don't think, $50,000 a year. But it's West Virginia, so the cost of living is low. But like you're right, I was thinking about it, and the point you just made about how those people should be making a lot of money. If you wanted to craft a society that like made sense, yeah, one of the professions I'd pay a lot of money is teachers, because you want the people who are teaching the next generation, the kids, to like live decent lives. And that should be like an esteemed position in society. Like, that's where we all every day. We all get together and send our kids to this place where this person gives them information and wisdom.
Yeah.
It's like when you describe it that way, it's like, oh shit, that person's special. You know what I mean? Like, you better fucking pay them well. But no, instead we get assholes on Wall Street who are pushing numbers around on a computer screen and cutting deals with fucking Saudi princes. They get $50 million a year, and the teachers are getting like $40,000 a year. It's like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Society is just not engineered in a very intelligent way.
But when you also break it down that way, it's also like we put so much trust on a teacher. Like, a teacher could just be fucking teaching shit that's false, and it's like we trust them so much. Like, did you ever have a teacher that would say that said some shit, and you're like, I don't think that's right?
Oh, hell yeah.
But the class is just like, nah, it's the teacher, dude. Like, he knows.
Yeah.
But like, they might not know. Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the issues with what's it called? Tenure? I think it's called tenure. Where we're like, oh, now you can't get fired. It's like, what? Really? Like, what the fuck? So I could do a bad job now and it's all good?
Pretty much, besides just like beating a kid or something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, I get, like, it makes sense on the other hand to have tenure. It's like, that's one of the protections of unionization. Like, you all get together and have worker protections where it's like, this person, they can control their own destiny in a way. But you're right, like, there are some shitty teachers out there, but I think most of them are probably good.
Yeah, but we used to see teachers in high school that you could just see who are just checked the fuck out. That just like don't have that same passion or grind as like someone who was younger. But we had a lot of respect for the teachers like Mr. Mont, who like been doing this shit for ages and like still seemed to have that same fire as like if he was just like his first day on the job, like I'm gonna try and change these kids' minds and get them to believe in some,
Yeah, that's the thing, is a good teacher makes the kids want to learn about what they're talking about. That's a good teacher. Now, sometimes it's a little more difficult than that in certain classes, certain topics. Like math is hard, at least, and I'm biased here because I'm not a math guy, but like it's harder to try to have people interested in that because it's just not.
But I think we also had respect for the teachers that actually cared a lot about their craft. Like there's some teachers who were math teachers because they were smart as fuck. Like I remember I had a teacher, Miss Hankel, who was.
I had her like 3 years straight.
Like she just was like, you could tell, just genuinely smart at math. Like when she was in high school, it was just like in all the advanced classes.
I did terrible in Hankel's class, man.
Hell yeah.
I did so bad.
But
I suck at math. I always suck at math.
Yeah, but if she was like, if you could tell she was like doing an equation and like getting excitement out of doing it, like you would be like, all right, I'm going to try and learn this shit maybe. But like she would put shit on the board and just do it because she was smart as fuck.
We're undercutting our own theory here because the more I hear you talk about Hankel, the more I'm like, nah, doesn't matter how passionate she was. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do math. I wasn't interested in it. But
I think if she had a different fucking angle on it, like, can you see that the root of this is because the angle? You would be like, I'm gonna try and see the.
So as she kept talking, you were like, okay, I can get interested in this because you're interested.
No,
in it.
I was the opposite. I didn't think she gave a shit about it. I think she was just genuinely smart as fuck and was like, I got to be a math teacher. Whereas Mr. Mont, he was a psych teacher, but actually fucking was like, he loved that shit. I was like, I want to pay attention because he really cares. Wait, so are you saying
Hankel really loved her shit too, or no?
No, she didn't really love that shit.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to be like an artist or a photographer or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
I thought you were saying the opposite about Hankel, that she was.
No, she was just genuinely smart as fuck, but didn't want to be doing that shit.
Okay.
So when she did an equation, she would just be like, square root of this is 5 divided by 4. And you just like, huh?
I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew what was going on in her class, ever. I'm surprised I'm not still in that class. When I'm 30 years old. I'm surprised I didn't get held back for that fucking class, and I'm still taking it.
Do you ever have nightmares about that shit that you're like, I didn't pass a math class? That
all the fucking time, son. Yeah. I have a recurring nightmare. One of the recurring nightmares I have is I'm back in school, and what's crazy is, so I had that nightmare so many times that I've told myself, listen, man. I've tried to like think this thought and laser it so deeply in my brain that I'm like immune from those dreams. So I say to myself, you're out of school, you're 100% out of school, it's over, it's done. And what happened was I would keep having those nightmares, but I would tell myself sometimes in those nightmares like, nah, you're out of school. Like you're so I would be sitting like in class in a nightmare like you're out of school. Like, it's all good.
That's some mind fuck shit.
So
like, you were talking to yourself while you were in your mind
some
talking
part
to
of my subconscious brain is talking to the other part of my subconscious brain in my dream.
Man, that's deep.
But my dream mind jujitsu'd the fuck out of my logical mind, because one of the times, I distinctly remember this, one of the times I was in the dream, I think I was walking on my college
Sunshine.
campus.
You had to finish that with Sunshine.
I was walking on sunshine. And my brain said to me, like, oh, we're back in college. And then the logical mind was like, nah, you graduated. You're done. You're done. But then my dream mind was like, yeah, that's true. You're right. But we got one more year though.
Fuck, you guys are just wrestling back and forth.
And then my logical mind was like, bet, you're right. And I couldn't escape it. So I was in the dream and my logical mind failed in the wrestling with my dream mind. And then I was like, fuck, I'm back in school. And I have that nightmare, man. That's one of my nightmares, because I feel like for me, it was so like confining, and I always said I learned way more laying on my bed with a laptop on my lap and Google there than I ever learned in class. And that's not to say my teachers are bad people, but it's just or bad teachers. It's the kind of learning that I'm capable of doing. Like, I'm only able to learn about some shit if I want to learn about that shit. And if I want to learn about it, then I will go deep into that fucking rabbit hole, and I'll research every single angle of the thing that I'm talking about. And then I will learn a hell of a lot just sitting there searching the internet and finding legit sources, you know, about whatever topic. But when you put me in a classroom in an uncomfortable seat, you surround me with fucking 20 other kids who are also sitting in an uncomfortable seat, you put somebody who the majority of the time is not dynamic or charismatic or interesting in front of me trying to teach me some shit that I don't give a fuck about, and my mind is not wired to learn well. Like, I'm just not a math person. I can't get math. My mind is not good in that respect.
Same. Yeah.
Science too. I respect science in that I know how brilliant it is and how intelligent it is and how the scientific method is correct, and I respect people who could do it, and I listen and learn from scientists, but I don't know how to do it. Like, I can't do it. I'm not good at going through those steps. So for me, I've always been more of a social studies guy, history guy, English guy. Like, I could do okay in that, and the reason I could do okay in that is there's a little bit more, at least for English, there's a little bit more creativity involved in that. And like, okay, you get to craft your own shit. Like, write me an essay on X. Oh, okay, I think I could do that. And then I could take it and craft it and make it my own. As opposed to with math, it's like, you have to crack this fucking code. And I'm like, oh, I can't crack the code. I don't know how to fucking crack the code. Let me make my own code. Can I make my own code? No, you got to crack the code. Fuck. Let me get back in English class and write some shit about making my own code. I can't do this shit. So,
do you think there's some, and maybe I have this too, some type of like guiltiness that we didn't finish, and that's why we have those we didn't finish school dreams, that like because you found a lot of answers off Google and because you could look it up on the laptop, you sort of have this like void, like maybe I didn't finish that like class.
Oh,
maybe I didn't get my
That's
degree.
a decent theory. Yeah, like when I was just talking about Hankel right now, I get like a genuine anxiety when I talk about that class because I feel like I honestly never did anything right in the class, ever.
I don't think anybody did.
Like, I never got any answer correct, and like everything I did, she'd be like, no, that's wrong. Every test I got back was like fucking 60. You know, like I somehow managed to get a 60 even though I don't know dick.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're right. Maybe there is something in the back of my mind that's like saying to me, like, you know, you never really got out of that class. Like, you're out of the class, but you didn't really get out of the class.
Yeah, that shit just came to me because it's like through college, it's like I would put answers on the inside of my fucking water bottle or like I was actually, cheat off someone next to me or some shit.
Believe it or not, I was not bad in college. I was pretty good in college because it was political science, so I liked it.
Yeah, true.
You know, but again,
you didn't have GE like regular classes that you were just like.
No, there were regular classes that I was like, fuck this, but it wasn't as many. In fact, I think I'm not sure I took a single math class in college.
You had to have taken like a statistics class or some shit.
Okay. 100. Maybe I did, but I took whatever the bare fucking minimum was for math, and whatever all those other things are that you have to take. I took the bare minimum of that, and then by the time I got to junior year, senior year in college, it was
just the shit you liked.
All politics. Loved it, you know. So, and that just goes to show you, man, like, it's hard when you take an individual human being and you drop him in a system. This giant system where there's already a bunch of moving parts and there's a curriculum you have to go through, and like you're just a cog in the fucking machine. And it's like, but I don't compute with all of these different things. I only compute with certain parts of it. And it's like, it's just a cold reality of the way we do school. Is like they don't allow you to really blossom until later on. Like it's almost like you have to go through the steps, go through the motions until a certain point, and then they say, okay, now we'll give you more freedom to choose. But with a guy like me, if you don't give me that freedom up front, I'm like a natural fucking rebel, or I'm a natural contrarian. Like I was just describing how when I'm all organized, I want to be not organized. And when I'm not organized, I want to be organized. I'm a contrarian even with myself. So of course I'm going to be a fucking contrarian with this fucking place you have to go to where they force you to sit down and listen to somebody who's not charismatic talk.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the categories they give you are just so broad. It's like the things you can major in are just like liberal arts, music. Like there could be a mix between both or some shit like that, you know? Or it could be like your own shit that you want to make up. Like that's not.
And it's also... It's hard, man, when you're that young. Like,
Yeah.
especially when you're in high school, like, you're just fucking horny 24/7, and they want you to fucking just focus on some shit that's not that.
You're influenced by your friends too and shit like that, who are
of
like,
course.
you've got one friend saying they're going to some awesome school, and then you're just like, oh, I want to go there too, because she's going there or he's going there. But like in reality, like the fucking 16, 17-year-old is making a decision that will affect them when they're fucking older.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
what
what
the
college
fuck
did
do
you go
you know?
to?
You don't know anything.
You don't know anything,
And you're like,
you got to
I'm
make
going to
one
go
of the
across
biggest
the country to
decisions.
college, really? You're going to go to fucking California to go to college?
Some people get fucked up and fucked over because of that shit.
Yeah.
Having to make some stupid ass decision when they're young as fuck. I mean, like if you don't have your parents guiding you in the direction, or if you have a stupid guidance counselor telling you like, hey, yeah, go here, you take out a loan, you'll do this, you're fine. Like, what the fuck do they care? You know?
Yeah. So to change the topic here, I went through all my old mail this week.
Like hard mail or
Mail,
like,
mail, not
Oh,
email,
yeah.
mail. And when I finished with that, that was a great feeling, because I was like, "Fuck, I did it."
How long did it pile up for? Like, what? How long of
So I went
mailage
through.
was it?
I went through like half of it, or maybe a little more than half of it, maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe even a little longer than that. But I still had a stack, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do it. I was just putting it off. And then I finally was like, all right, let's do it. Went through it all, threw out everything that needed to be thrown out, kept everything that needed to be kept. There used to be a stack in the kitchen on the table. It's now gone. And that gave me this like existential relief. Like you were just talking about it with school. Like, you think there's some shit in the back of your head that's like, I didn't really finish it. Like, I didn't even know it was there, but that shit was there in my head about the mail. Like, it was there. It was like, it was nagging me, and I didn't even know it was nagging me. And then
Was it nagging you that it was there, or was it like there might be a bill in there or some shit or a ticket or something?
Just
that, like,
nagging
I
me
have
that it was
gotten
there, because I know my bills are taken care of. I do my bills separately because I can't do them old school way with fucking,
Just the fact that there was a stack of some
the
shit.
fact
that
that there's a
like, you had to
stack of
go
some shit that I know I'm supposed to go through and I didn't fucking go through. It was just in my mind. It was just fucking with me. I didn't even know that I had that there. Like, I literally didn't even know. And then once I got rid of all of it and I went to bed that night, it was just like, oh shit, there's this thing that was there that was annoying me that's not there anymore. And it was a great feeling. I was like, God damn, man. So, and then I was thinking, like, how many people, because when I look at other people, I always assume that they have their shit a lot more together than I do. But, like, is that true? Like, what percentage of people...
Nah, probably not.
What percentage of people have their shit together where it's like everything's just kind of in order around them? You know what I mean?
Nobody's got that shit.
Nobody's
all
got that
together.
shit?
Hell fucking no. And I was talking to my sister about this. It's like, you look at someone and like, yeah, they look happy and all that shit, or like your boss is telling you something and it's just like, they're just a regular ass person too. Like, he's got to go home and his wife is yelling at him because he left the pasta out last night or some shit like that. Like, nobody's got their shit in order. Nobody's shit is in line.
But there is like a positive spin on that, though, a positive message on that, which is that's all what you said is true. But that just goes to show you that, like, if you have a goal and you want to achieve it and you go for it in a single-minded way, like, you can do it. Because you're right. Everybody's a person and everybody's dealing with 1,000 things. And, like, that dude who you look at and you think is happy and he's getting yelled at by his wife about the pasta or whatever, like, so if everybody's like that and you decide, well, I'm going to try my best to do X, Y, or Z, whatever it may be, say you want to be in the NBA or some shit and you're young and you have the talent, the potential, like, so if you say, no, literally, I'm going to wake up at 8 o'clock, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours in the morning and do nothing but shoot around for 2 hours, then I'm going to go to school. When I'm out of school, I'm going to go play for another hour, and then I'm going to do free throw practice for X amount of, and then, so you go through all this. I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do cardio, I'm going to weight lift, and you actually stick to it. Like, that's how greatness is created. Because
there's a roadmap to everything. Like, anyone can literally do anything.
In other words, even if the playing field is not perfectly even, because everybody's got, certain people are naturally better at certain things than other people, and certain people have less of a burden than other people. But if you live like that blank slate is real, and like we all are starting from the same starting point, if you buy into that illusion just for the sake of trying to get better at something, you can actually work out.
Yeah. That's some good ass inspiration. I feel like I'm gonna fucking run for president tomorrow or some shit.
But I've thought
or try and make the NBA.
But I've thought about that shit before, like, because there's this theory in academia that it's not true, but it's an appealing theory, and the theory is the blank slate. The idea of like we're all human beings are just a lump of clay, and we're all just like. We're all the same, and then your environment totally shapes you, and then you can work your way through your own environment, through your own will, but, like, your environment shapes you, and culture shapes you, but we all start out, like, exactly the same. And so, if that's true, then you can make a choice that, okay, I see the direction my whole environment is pushing me in, I'm going to choose to go in the opposite direction. Because if we're all a lump of clay, okay, bitch, I'm going to mold myself. How about that?
But then again, some of it is skewed because it's like it's fucked up because I see all these like new actors coming up and new actresses and like new like kids in the NBA and all this stuff, and it's like you look at their parents and it's like it's how it's been forever. It's like all the actors and actresses, their father was an actress or actresses, you know, like so like Will Smith's son is now a musician because his father's fucking Will Smith, or like LeBron James' son will eventually be in the NBA. Because he's fucking LeBron James' son. Other actors or actresses or comedians, like, they have that head start because their father or mother was, like, some successful fucking
That's the point. That's the point. They have that giant head start. But remember I said at the beginning that the theory's not true. It's not true that you're a blank slate. It's not true that everybody starts at the same point. That's not true. But what I'm saying is if you live like it is true, you're giving yourself the best chance. That's the point I'm making. But you're 100% right, because there are people that have a giant acting is the perfect example. There are people that have a giant leg up on everybody because of who their dad is. You know what I mean? But
yeah, like I think Jay-Z, Beyonce's daughter will be all right she'll do all right.
She's going to be all right. Even if she does nothing, she's going to have $1 zillion where she could fall back on it.
Like Paris fucking Hilton.
Well, now we're getting into economics. Like they got to tax these motherfuckers. That's the problem with that. Is that like, I mean, I've discussed that fact before, but the richest 6 people in the world have more wealth than the bottom 3.5 billion people.
Yeah, it's absurd.
So 6 people have more than half the world, man.
So Paris Hilton isn't paying like a crazy amount of taxes. She's just paying like some normal shit as she was just like a...
I don't know what the estate tax rate was when she inherited money. I have no idea what it was.
Oh, okay.
But... the estate tax, which is a tax on wealth that gets passed down, it only applies to the richest 0.01% of society. So it's only people that have like over $5 million or something like that saved.
Okay.
So in other words, even if somebody's worth $1 million, they get to pass all that down to their kid or whatever. Only when you're over like $5 million do they tax it at all.
She probably should be paying more taxes.
Yeah, but not just that. Also income. Like there's an income tax issue. Like, what's his fucking name? Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy. They said he made like, was it like $1 billion in a day or some shit?
That whole fucking Amazon thing. Do you see like this whole bidding process thing for Amazon and like these states?
Oh yeah, I covered that on my show because so first of all, we'll come back to that core in a second. Remember that the bidding war thing. But Jeff Bezos right now is worth $130.5 billion. Jesus. Listen, man.
I'll take that 0.5.
Well, that's the point. That's what, 500 million? Yeah, 0.5 billion is 500 million. Like, yeah. This is the point I'm making here. Fucking Mark Zuckerberg is 74.6 billion. Like, if Jeff Bezos is worth 130.5 billion, we're gonna have trillionaires at some point. Somebody is going to be a trillionaire. And dude, stop and think about it. We have people still starving to death in this world that we live in.
Yeah.
People are starving to death. We have people in the U.S., 45,000 of them die every year because they don't have basic health care.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of that shit in L.A. Like, we saw a fucking under the bridge. Yeah, we saw a row of tents.
Homeless people. And by the way,
Shit looks like the fucking Ramada Inn or some shit.
It would save money, too, if we just gave them a 1-bedroom apartment, just like a small apartment. Like, that would save money overall because it actually costs a lot of money to have them on the street because they get arrested and they go to the hospital and they go here and they go there. If you just give them a little apartment, that's easy. That'll fix the problem. But we don't do it. We don't do it.
That's probably more motivation for them to go do some shit, too.
If they have an apartment, yeah. If society has a little bit of a fucking fallback for people who are going through a hard time, yeah, they're more likely to get their shit together if they're not totally, completely, and utterly fucking left out to dry while fucking Jeff Bezos has 130 billion goddamn dollars. See, that's the thing is like there is a certain amount of wealth that becomes that by its very nature undermines and threatens the stability of the entire system that we have. Because he's so rich that he can buy the government. Mm-hmm. And in fact, he almost did. So he has a deal with the fucking CIA. Like Jeff Bezos is in bed with the CIA. Jeff Bezos, I think he owns the Washington Post now. The fucking, one of the top papers in the country. And they're not going to criticize him with his $130 billion because he fucking owns them. So this is the problem. He has enough money where it corrupts democracy. And it's not just him. It's all, Mark Zuckerberg. It's all of them. It's the fucking assholes who own the hedge funds on Wall Street. When they're worth so much money and all they have to do is spend a fraction of that money in campaign contributions to politicians, then they own those politicians. And then we sit back and we wonder, goddamn, why is it that half of workers in America make $30,000 a year or less? Why is it our infrastructure gets a grade of D+? Why is it our entire fucking country's crumbling? Well, it's because it's not like the politicians are actually making laws for the people. It's not like they're trying. It's like they're only
the rich people just controlling their puppets.
Exactly. So that's why you got to fucking tax these guys, man. That's the only way. If you're going to have a capitalist system, you have to fucking tax and you have to redistribute. That's not a question. Everybody's in favor of redistribution of wealth. It's just to what extent are you in favor of it? Where do you draw the line? How much of that wealth should be redistributed? But if you're in favor of having police officers, if you're in favor of having firefighters, if you're in favor of having a military, if you're in favor of having basic social services, then you're in favor of redistribution of wealth. So why the fuck wouldn't we tax Jeff Bezos and redistribute some of his money to make sure we don't have homeless people and to make sure that kids have health care in the inner city? Of course we should fucking do that. It's not $130.5 billion. Son, you can't spend that in 30 fucking lifetimes.
That's absurd.
Listen, and this is something Tom Hartman talks about. He's another radio host. He says he proposed this idea of a no billionaires tax. So like you max out at $1 billion. You can make $1 billion, but you can't. If you make more than that, whatever you make over that is taxed at 100%.
Oh, and yeah.
What's crazy is, so when I first heard that, I was like, that's crazy, Tom. That's like, why would you? I don't support that. That was my initial reaction. But then you stop and think about it and you go, wait a second. Which is crazier, Corin? What we have right now, where Jeff Bezos has $130.5 fucking billion, is that crazier? Or is it crazy to have a 100% tax on everything over $1 billion?
The shit we have now
is crazier. 100% what we have now is crazier. So, I did a poll on that on Twitter, and 51% of my followers said tax everything over $1 billion at 100%. And 49%
it was close like that?
It was close like that. But my point is, I think even the people who are not in favor of that, I think if you talk to them, many of them would say, you could tax it at like 80%. You know what I mean? Like they would hit you with something like that. Like everything over $1 billion, you could tax at 80%, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
We live in a fucking nation that's greedy as fuck. I mean, we want the most that we could get,
Yeah, but it's not like, I feel like regular people are not unreasonable. Like those teachers that we were just talking about in West Virginia, like they were only asking for a 5% raise when they hadn't had a raise in years, and this is barely keeping them up with inflation and shit. So, like, they're not unreasonable. The fucking Jeff Bezos is unreasonable. Like, there's a certain personality type that's, like, really fucked up, where most people are just regular people. They just want to make enough money to have a decent life and have some money to pass down to their kids and maybe send their kid to college or some shit. And that's another thing. We should have free college. If Jeff Bezos has $130 billion, we don't even have free college. You could pay for free college for the entire country with half of Jeff Bezos' money. Half of it. He could still have fucking $60 billion. Because Bernie Sanders' free college bill was about $60 billion. So
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos alone could pay for all free college for everybody in the fucking country, but instead we don't have free college for the country, and we have over $1 trillion of student loan debt right now. That shit should be wiped out. If we spend $7 trillion in Iraq, we should wipe out all the student loan debt. And people would call me crazy for bringing that up. Like, oh, that's fucking crazy. You want to wipe out all the student loan debt? Fuck yeah, I want to wipe out all the student loan debt. Can we spend $7 trillion in Iraq, $2 trillion in Afghanistan? We got all this money to
$7 trillion in Iraq.
$7 trillion. Now, to be fair, as of right now, it's only $2 trillion. But when you include the interest on that money, because we pay for the war with borrowed money, and when you stretch it out to 2053, that's when it'll cost $7 trillion. That's the total cost, they say. When all's said and done, it'll be $7 trillion. But as of right now, it's $2 trillion. Jesus. But Afghanistan, same thing, $2 trillion in Afghanistan. So
just monopoly money, like
exactly. They just throw it around. Whenever it's some things, they don't question like, hey, maybe we can't afford this, maybe we shouldn't do this. It's just they'll look at you like this is just necessary. What do you mean this is necessary? But all the things that they tell you it's necessary are all the things it's not necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
What's necessary is education. Give everybody free college, maybe free preschool, universal preschool. That'd be a good idea too. What's necessary is health care. Give everybody health care. Everybody should get 2 weeks paid vacation by law. Like, all these things are necessary, but they laugh at you if you bring those up. Like, please, you want to actually spend our tax money to help regular people? Go fuck yourself. So, yeah. We didn't do any polls today, which is a shame, but that's all right. Oh. We'll do it the next show. I was going to do Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat versus Tekken.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I was going to do Xbox versus PlayStation. And then
that's a good one, too.
In the middle of our conversation, I started thinking, I was like, you know what else I wanted to do? I wanted to do just LA versus New York and see what people say.
I think New York would win that. That's a good poll.
I think New York would win too, but it'd probably be close though, because LA's got the nicer weather. Or would it
be just LA, not Cali?
I would do LA versus New York, not Cali, because if you do Cali, then Cali definitely wins because you got San Francisco. Yeah. It's
San Diego,
LA. That's a game changer.
True.
Yeah.
China versus Japan.
Japan's my shit.
I don't know. China's dope too.
All right, we can wrap it up, son. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I wanted to fucking hear your thoughts on the fucking Amazon buying.
Oh, yeah. That's my bad. That's why I told you to remember to bring it up because I knew I would forget. Yeah, it's a bidding war. So you have different states that are just rolling out.
But the shit seems mad fucking corrupt.
It is. It's beyond corrupt because what they're doing is they're promising Amazon, which is one of the wealthiest corporations, and Jeff Bezos, who is the wealthiest person in the world, they're promising him a giant corporate welfare check in order to bring the Amazon headquarters to their state. And that's corrupt as fuck because the proposals are ridiculous. One of them is like, we're gonna let Amazon collect taxes from their own workers. So instead of the workers paying taxes to the state like everybody does, they're gonna pay taxes to Amazon. So it's like, hold on, wait, you want people to pay for working at Amazon? Isn't that like fucking feudalism? Like, aren't we just doing that now and you're calling it something else? So these are the proposals they're fucking doing. They're saying we'll give you billions of dollars. You don't have to pay taxes for X amount of years. And Amazon didn't pay taxes all last year. That was another story that I covered. They paid no taxes all last year. So like, listen, I'm not anti-Amazon. I buy a lot of shit on Amazon. So I'm not fucking Mr. Purity over here. But you have to number one, not have a law that says the states can't get into a bidding war over Amazon like this because you're just hosing the taxpayers in those states. They're going to give billions of dollars to Jeff Bezos, who has $130 billion. Fuck off. They should make that illegal. They can't have these fucking bidding wars. And I forgot the other point I was going to make, but yeah,
fucking New Jersey was like rolling out everything. Like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that.
Yeah,
we'll do this
all the states, a bunch of states were doing the same shit. Like, no, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. Don't worry about it. It's okay. You can collect taxes from your own workers.
And the news is covering it like it's some like joyful story.
Yeah,
like,
they're not.
Chicago was like, Amazon's here today, and we're gonna be rolling out the red carpet. We're trying to get them here, and everybody's like, they had like a It was at like some elementary school, and there were kids in the background cheering and shit like that. And I was like, what?
He doesn't
This is
even,
like on some like corrupt shit that you're doing.
I heard he doesn't even pay his workers a living wage. Like,
Really?
How are you this fucking rich and you don't even pay your workers a living wage? That's fucking crazy.
Fucking wild. Yeah, if that's true.
And then he said a while ago, or was it Elon Musk or him? I don't remember.
Is Musk good? Do we like him? Like, I feel
I
like
don't
people
know
look
enough
up to that
about him.
dude.
He's just the futuristic guy who likes to fucking
It's
invent
weird because he
shit.
seems like a normal-ish dude who seems like the smartest fucking guy.
I
like,
don't
ever,
know enough about
supposedly.
him, but I'm annoyed by how much he gets sucked off by everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know a lot about him either, but like, then I'll turn on like, I don't know, the news or look at my Instagram and he's putting a rocket ship in space
And
with a
they're
fucking
sucking off Elon Musk.
Corvette in the front of the shit. Like, what? And he was the one who designed that shit. And then like, he does crazy shit. Like, someone told me he had something. There was something on the dashboard that was even like crazier if you saw that. Like, I don't know.
What's not cool about that is he has SpaceX. That's the thing he does where he put shit in space and
Yeah.
like. But we used to do this with NASA. Like this used to be the government, and now this asshole's doing it.
Yeah.
It's
like
just weird. It's like why are we privatizing another thing that shouldn't be privatized? Like we've privatized prisons in this country. That was a fucking terrible idea because now you make it for profit to lock people up. Well, guess what? Now those companies are going to want to lock more people up because that's how they make their money.
Is that like someone else coming by, like a very, very smart guy and creating his, like just buying out a huge building and creating like his own prison?
Yeah,
like,
it's a privately owned prison. So somebody runs a prison and makes money running a prison. Where it used to be prisons are paid for by tax dollars because it's a necessity in society that if some people do some fucked up shit, you got to lock them up. But you don't want to make it a for-profit industry because then you're going to, like, for example, what happened is the private prison lobby, they pay money to politicians in California to try to get a 3 strikes law passed, which makes it so that if you have 3 felonies, no matter how minor they may be, you get life in prison. It was private prison companies that lobbied for that, to try to get that. Because they knew they'd make more money the more asses they have in beds for their private prison. This is what we do. We privatize shit that shouldn't be fucking privatized.
So is Elon Musk, you're saying like some privatized shit?
Yeah, the SpaceX is like privatized version of NASA.
Oh, okay.
Where like they're
so
going to
all our
fucking Mars and shit, and like NASA should be doing that, but they're doing it.
So our prisons aren't all like government run and all that
No,
stuff?
we have a bunch of private prisons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have government prisons, but we also have private prisons. And of course, all the prisons are bad, but there's a lot more abuse and a lot more, many more issues with private prisons. Like I covered stories about fucking rat-infested food that they just fed to the inmates anyway because they're like, fuck it, who cares? We're not going to get in trouble for doing this. They pay their guards so much less, so their guards do a shittier job in private prisons.
I'm sure, yeah. They probably just don't give a fuck about. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Whew.
So anyway, everything sucks and we're all going to die. And on that lovely note, all right, everybody, we love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Much love. Peace.